Peace, fam. This is Shofar from Fo Show Energy Work, and I'm here to talk to you today about the 5 elements or the 5 phases of Kundalini. My understanding from my own experience is that there's 5 major ways that Kundalini, or sensual, sexual, creative force or energy, shows up. So I wanted to explain my understanding of it, and maybe that might be helpful to some of us who are looking to go deeper and have a deeper understanding of Kundalini. So the first phase, or the first element, is the water element, and the water element being kind of the analogy or the totem that's given for going deep into a meditative or trance-like state. So it's through deep introspection that we're able to see other parts of ourselves, and then also able to change them. When the conscious mind, the part of us that we identify with most of the time, when that part of our being is at the forefront, it's constantly telling us what is possible and what isn't possible. It's basically making up what is reality for us. And so when we go into a deep water-like, go deep into a trance-like state, a meditative state, we're able to reprogram and actually have a different reality. So the first element is the water element, and it allows things to be able to flow for us in a different way when we can have that type of control, that type of understanding of our being, is to be able to be introspective with our thoughts and our feelings. The thoughts being the pictures that we see and the words of affirmation that we speak, so the voice that we hear, and then the feelings being the emotional feelings that we feel. So the introspective water element helps us to have a trance-like state in changing our thoughts and our feelings. The fire element is the second one. The fire element is that phase of Kundalini where we actually express verbally what it is that we are looking to do. We express with words of affirmation as to what it is that our will, what it is that we want to do, and we express it and we put it out there. There's a fire to that. There's a catalyst. There's something that is speaking something into existence. And so we've gone into a deep state of introspection with the water element, but now we use the fire element to actually speak into existence, speak out what it is that we are planning to bring forth. And the fire element also stands for passion. It's that passion that comes with purpose, with having some understanding, some feeling of knowing what you're here to do. That's the fire element. And that's another phase of creation, or phase of the Kundalini. The third phase of it that we can tap into is the earth element. And with the earth element, that's actually embodying. So we've gone into deep introspection with the water element. We've spoken out into existence to all of creation, to our fellow women and men, and we've let the world know what it is that we plan and what it is that we're going to bring into creative force. Now with the earth element, we actually embody that. We actually feel it in our physical body, where we actually physically feel those emotions in our physical body, and we embody that. And so that's a very, very powerful thing when we actually get to a place of stepping into embodying our purpose, embodying our passion, embodying the thoughts and feelings, but they show up in the physical realm through us. In Chinese medicine, they say that the human being is the conduit or the bridge between heaven and earth. We are the bridge. And so it's when we become the earth element that we actually embody that and bring it forth into this realm. And we can also do that through how we express our body, through dance and through movement. These are things that will awaken, so introspection will awaken the Kundalini. Verbal affirmation or expression will awaken the Kundalini, moving the throat chakra. And then with the third eye being for introspection with the first one, with the water element, and then with the physical body itself and moving it and embodying, we actually can express and awaken the Kundalini as well. And the fourth element is the breath. Without the breath, the body is just, it's gonna, you know, we're dead. You know what I'm saying? So with breathing, we actually bring yin and yang into this realm in a balanced state. In order to have life, our breath has to be balanced. We need to exhale and we need to inhale. And in order for there to be life, the breath is a constant reminder. If ever we forget about yin and yang and about balancing, the breath is always bringing us back to it, or trying to bring us back to exhaling and inhaling yin and yang. That is so that is kind of like the core expression, because it's giving us a way to a constant reminder about the necessity of yin and yang and how it must play out into a place of balance. We can only hold our breath for so long, you know, as far as breathing in and holding that, or we can only exhale for so long before we have to take back in. So the breath is that phase of the sensual, creative expression that is constantly bringing us into balance with the yin and yang element. And the last phase is a phase that is kind of more esoteric and maybe a little harder to understand for some of us, but it's the whole idea of the ether, and that is the plasma, or that is the dark matter. You know, these things that science talks about, you know, that we really can't, to my understanding, we don't know how to scientifically prove it, or to we can intellectually speak about it, but it's another thing to actually have an experience of it. But it's that part of creation that is neither yin nor yang. It is both and it is neither all at the same time. It's very fucking paradoxical. And so one way that I like to think of it is the womb. And the womb is actually where it brings all four elements into being. It gives birth to fire, it gives birth to earth, it gives birth to water, it gives birth to the air element. But the womb of itself is none of those things, and yet is all at the same time. It is, in other words, it is the grand possibility of, it's the infinite possibilities of no thing and everything all at the same time. And so that's the fifth phase of it's kind of the cauldron, if you will, that holds the other four elements. And so with that being said, you know, we can learn how to master all of the five major, and there's other, you know, mid or sub categories of it, right? Like there's not this like total separation of the elements. In Chinese medicine, when we draw out the elements, you actually see that they slowly begin to phase into each other. Or when you see yin and yang, the yin and yang symbol is like they show them like in that swirling motion, because it's saying that they're going in and out of each other constantly, and the four elements are constantly interplaying with each other. And that's always happening within our bodies, that's happening in our relationships, that's happening in world events. Like the five major phases are, the five major elements are always phasing into each other, in and out. And so the thing that we learn how to do as human beings, we can learn how to master that. And we master that with our thoughts and feelings. We master that with the pictures that we see, the words that we say, the way that we express ourselves. These are the ways that we can, it's like if I'm feeling that I'm a little low on one element, what I can do is I use another element to help bring that into balance, if that makes sense. So you play around with it and go into your own sensuality, you go into these things, and you begin to have a certain mastery of it. If you have any questions on this, I have a book, Soul, Sacred Orgasmic Living, that goes into some of this. I also have a series of workshops. Hip Hop Kundalini is one of them. Also do sessions for couples, for individuals, and you know, and I also, if you just reach out to me, I can also just point you in different directions where you can go into a deeper study of this. I hope that makes sense. I hope it helps you if you are looking to understand Kundalini a little better. I hope that helps out, and keep shining, keep climbing, y'all. Peace.